We get a lot of guests that come here and stay. They came originally to come and use the trail. And that's a great thing that we're able to work cooperatively with the Hatfield-McCoy Trail Network to get people introduced to Southern West Virginia. So, but once they come, then they realize that there's other great things to do here besides trail riding. So they come, they go to the trail, they ride the trail, then they come back to the park, they golf, they stay for a few extra days, they enjoy the restaurant, they enjoy the lodge, they enjoy our special events and activities that we have going on all the time. And it makes for a great partnership between Twin Falls State Park and the Hatfield-McCoy Trail System. I'm the superintendent here at Twin Falls Resort State Park. Twin Falls is about 4,000 acres in size, 3,776 acres to be more precise. Twin Falls was originally envisioned in the 1960s, early 1960s, and so the state began acquiring land then for the construction of a resort state park. The bulk of the land came from two land corporations, Western Pocahontas Land Corporation and Pocahontas Land Corporation, who donated most of the land here to be used as a state park. And so the construction started in 1967 and 68. The first thing that was opened here on the park was the golf course. We have an 18-hole championship golf course, 6,800 yards long. It's a par 71. It is a really nice course. The first 9 holes were designed by Jeffrey Cornish, and the second 9 holes were designed by George Cobb. Mr. Cobb was renowned, both of our architects were renowned architects in the golf course world. And they built a really stunning course. It's beautiful. Wildlife on it, it's very popular with people. It's not an easy course. It's a challenging course. There's water on 15 holes. We have a 47-room lodge that includes a full-time, full-service restaurant. It's a top-notch vacation resort hotel with top-notch facilities, and people come from all over the world to stay here and use the park facilities. Also at the lodge is an indoor pool for guests and a fitness center for guests as well. Beautiful courtyard there at the lodge, which is becoming popular for weddings and group events as well. As the evening turns into night is really a pleasant experience there in the courtyard. We have 14 cottages that are near the golf course, and we also have a 50 campsite campground. Half of those campsites, 25 of them, have electricity. Half of them are reservable. We have a lot of special events here at the park over the course of the year. Lumberjack and Bluegrass and Jamboree is the second weekend in October here at Twin Falls State Park. We get to do it when it's really beautiful. We generally have good weather. It's an event that starts on Saturday, runs all day Saturday and all day Sunday. As you can tell from the name, Lumberjack and Bluegrass and Jamboree, it's down home, Southern West Virginia activities. We have, throughout the course of the day, we have lumberjack events going on with competition for tree felling, buck sawing, chainsaw operation, axe throwing, wood chopping, wood splitting, several different kinds of events like that. We also have, just adjacent to that, we have craft booths with some food. Those booths are all local folks. It's a non-commercial event. You'll probably run into somebody's granny sitting there selling her knitting, or somebody's grandpa sitting there selling his wooden wall ornaments. But you won't run into much commercial. Also, nearby we have bluegrass music being performed, and we also have square dancing and flatfoot dancing as well going on during Lumberjack and Bluegrass and Jamboree. The park has about 30 miles of trails, and none of our trails are restricted to use, so they are open for mountain bike riders as well as hikers. We've never had any problems or conflicts between mountain bike riders and hikers, and so we've never had the need to try to designate any of those trails as exclusive use. We have some trails that were built specifically with mountain bike riding in mind. They're still great hiking trails. Moonshiner's Trail is about 1.5 miles long, and it was built specifically for mountain bikers. It's single track, but it's also a great hiking trail. We have other trails of different sizes as well. For example, our easiest trail is a 1/4 mile long. It's called the Twin Oaks Trail. It's 1/4 mile, it's paved. There's hardly any elevation change at all on it. And people who aren't as physically able as other people can come and use that trail and have just as big an adventure on their scale as people who come and use another trail that we have here called the Pathfinder Trail. Pathfinder Trail, you have to hike other trails to even get to the Pathfinder Trail. And it is well blazed, but it's not, we intentionally never actually built a trail surface. So that's why it's called the Pathfinder Trail, because it's more challenging and more difficult. But there's more higher rewards on that. There's a lot of elevation change on that trail, and there's a lot of places where you're walking through the woods, and you can find your way because it's well blazed, but it's not the easiest walking. We have 2 falls here on the park that are accessed from a trail called the Falls Trail, and so the 2 falls are interesting because if you walk the trail, you have the impression that they're flowing into each other. Because as you walk by the first one, the falls flows from right to left, and as you get to the second one, it flows from the left to the right. The reason that happens is that they're on 2 branches of the same stream above the point where those 2 branches come together. They're about 20 feet high, but they're on seasonal streams. The park here is at about 2,500 feet in elevation, and that's pretty high in the Mississippi River watershed. And so these streams are very dependent upon precipitation, either in the form of rain or snow. They're oftentimes the prettiest when the snow's on. That's kind of my favorite time to see them. It's quiet, the snow muffles the sound, and you really can focus your senses in on the waterfall and then enjoy that really perfect natural nature type of experience there at the falls. Behind me is the Pioneer Farm here at Twin Falls State Park, and the farm was originally built in about 1835, we think. There's not very good records from that time period, by a man named Peter Belcher. We don't know much else about that until about just after the Civil War in the 1865-66 range, when a man named Wiley Bauer brought his wife here and settled in the Pioneer Farm. And so we call it the Pioneer Farm because it represents that time, that pioneer stage of West Virginia and America. The Bauer family continued to live here until about 1960, and then the park has taken that over. When the park began in the late 60s, at the farm, the house was a large white frame clapboard farmhouse, typical kind of spread out house that had additions built onto it, and several times during the course of its life as family sizes grew, and so they added on to the houses. So when the park came, there was the house, the big white farmhouse, a smokehouse, a log smokehouse, and a log barn there on site. But they were in disrepair. The first superintendent of the park was charged with tearing down the farm and preparing the land for other use. And as they began to tear down the farmhouse, inside the farmhouse, they found 4 log walls of the original cabin. And the cabin had been built and then added on to a number of times over the course of the house's life. Well, he decided that this was a great opportunity for a nice historically interpretive facility here. And they got together and rebuilt the farm. I don't want to use the word restored because that's not what they did. They didn't restore it to a particular time because there wasn't any records of what it was like at a given time. But they rebuilt it into a typical farm of the pioneer era. You know, the real distinction here at Twin Falls State Park is the people. This park's about people. You know, there's some great facilities here on the park. A lot of, you know, we've got a great lodge. We've got a great restaurant. We've got a lot of activities. Got a great golf course. But what the park is really about is people. It's about people who come here and who want to connect themselves back to their roots. It's about the people who work here at Twin Falls. They're great folks. They're warm. They're friendly. They're outgoing. They want to meet the people that are staying here on the park. They want to hear their stories. They want to tell their own stories. They're great folks to work with. The guests that come here, people that come here, I hear stories all the time about them and the history that their family has built up coming here to Twin Falls. You know, they came here when they were a little kid and had picnics, or they came on vacation and they're still doing it. We talk to a lot of people that come back here who are originally from this area and have moved away, and they come back to reconnect with their roots. But we also get people coming here who've never been to southern West Virginia before, and they come and they discover this ability that the park has to let them slow down the pace of their lives and to get back to their own roots, even though their roots aren't exactly here. Once they come, though, they've built their roots here and they're going to come back, and they're going to come back and they're going to ask about somebody they met working here the first time they came. We're on the web at www.twinfallsresort.com. You can call us at 304-294-4000. Check us out. It's a great place to be. As you can see today, it's a glorious day here at Twin Falls. We'd love to have you. Hospitality is great here. Once you come to Twin Falls, you'll want to come back.